Hello everyone and welcome back to Full House Sports here with myself, Charlie. Right, obviously being away at the weekend at the boxing, did give you the chance to react to the big breaking news that happened last night in Rangers managerial hunt, which is that Gerrard has rejected the chance to become the Rangers manager a second time round. I use sort of those quotation marks because I do have my question marks over whether this was actually really going to happen. I know people have said, well, he came to London for talks, but I do get the feeling that I think the fans wanted it more and perhaps allowed that to sort of get in the way of to how close it was to actually happening. I know that he had talks to the club. There's different rumours surrounding as to why he's rejected the chance to become Rangers manager. There's rumours that Rangers apparently wouldn't cover his tax bill upon returning to the UK because HMRC are going to hit him with quite a large tax bill. There's rumours that his wife wasn't keen on the move because I know that he's just recently become a granddad. People above him wanted to have full control over transfers and weren't going to allow him to have that. Listen, I don't know how true it is. I don't know what's happened there. I mean, it looked for all the money in the world that there was something going on, certainly with Jermaine Defoe's posts on social media. A lot of Rangers fans thought I was gathering momentum. I'm unsure, as to be honest with you, what's next for Rangers now, the managerial hunt. I do think that Rangers fans need to maybe give some of the contenders a chance. I do personally think if Gerrard has rejected the club a second time, because I don't know how true it is, but there's rumours he rejected them in the summer as well, then that's him done. He's washed his hands of Rangers. He should never be in the running again, in my opinion, to be Rangers manager. And that's the truth. I also think, to be honest with you, I said it in my video last week on Russell Martin's sacking, I actually don't think the idea of him coming back was a great idea anyway. I don't think he'd have been able to have done what he did the first time round. He was coming in halfway through a season, which would have made it even more difficult to sort of implement anything tactically if he wanted to make changes. And let's face it, the club are in a different financial position. They backed Gerrard up to a point, and I don't think he'd have been able to spend the money that he probably felt needed to be spent in order to improve the team. So he probably looked at it and thought, the last thing I need is a disastrous spell at Rangers. Maybe he might look at it at the end of this season, next summer, and say, oh, actually, now I do fancy it. But you never know. I just personally wasn't a fan of the idea of him coming back anyway. I've said before, I know it worked with Waldsmith, but I think it rarely works when managers return for a second spell. People would have had this unfair expectation of him to win stuff, and I don't think that was possible with this Rangers squad. Now looking at the betting, there is some really interesting contenders, and I think contenders that Rangers fans need to give a chance to be honest with you. Graham Potter is taking and being shortened in the betting. I think he could be a good fit for Rangers. The only issue is with Graham Potter is probably what he found at West Ham, which is there is an expectation and fans will no doubt put pressure on him straight away. And I've always found Graham Potter, he strikes me. I think Jamie Redknapp said it the other week when talking about West Ham Tottenham. He doesn't strike me that it's going to be smashing teacups against the wall and kicking benches. He doesn't strike as that top manager, and I think to an extent that's maybe what Rangers fans want to see at the minute, because Russell Martin wasn't that type of manager, and it really rubbed fans up the wrong way. Danny Roll is odds on in the betting. I personally am in favour of the Danny Roll appointment, and I think he's a man who needs to be given a chance. He's worked under a very limited budget at Sheffield Wednesday, and he's worked miracles there. He's tactically very good. I don't know if anyone remembers him doing the coverage of the Euro 2024, which he did on ITV. But tactically, his breakdowns were very interesting to listen to. The way he saw the game, the way he saw things playing out on the pitch, I think are a sign of a very good young manager. And I think potentially he would look at the Rangers job, similar to maybe the Sheffield Wednesday job, and go, right, it's a club that probably is in a little bit of crisis, but needs bringing together. And he did that at Sheffield Wednesday. Would be a good appointment, to be honest. I think he would look at it as a chance to again prove himself. Yes, there is the inevitability of he may look at moving on to more lucrative opportunities, would be a better way of putting it. But I think could be a fantastic appointment. There are others as well who are being shorted. I had a look at the betting this morning for it. Kevin Muscat is one that's being touted around. He seems to be touted a lot, but I don't know whether with Muscat he's missed the boat, to be honest. I think his stock was really high after he won the league in Japan. He's gone to China. It's been good in patches, bad in patches. I wonder if now he's been so long out of the frame in sort of European football and football, we'd recognise that maybe that's not a good move. Slaven Bilic at 16-1 was an interesting one. I thought that although he's been out of management a long time, he's someone who would get a club like Rangers. He got West Ham, and West Ham fans would tell you that he got West Ham. He gets the passion. He's a pretty hard-nosed bloke as well, which I think Rangers fans would appreciate. He's honest. He's up front. He's forthcoming with his opinions. He won't shy away from it. He won't shy away from being critical. And Rangers also have a proud history of Croatian players and links with Croatia, whether you think it's Jelavic or Perso or even as recently as Borna Barisic. Rangers have a proud history of that. Nikola Katic as well being another one. I don't know if he actually does represent Croatia anymore. And he's changed nationality, I think, but was Croatian at the time. Loads in the running. Rangers, they sort of tried to do it with Russell Martin, and I still agree with it. I think they've got to move away from this idea of hiring Rangers men, because you can't just keep hiring ex-players or ex-managers to no avail. Yes, I get it, because you want somebody there who understands the identity and the culture of the club. But unfortunately, I don't think there's anyone who fits that criteria who would also be able to get the best out of this squad. I think maybe a tactician like Roll or an older experienced head like Bilic, but not someone who's been at the club before, would be good for the side, be good for the fan base as well to have. Obviously, it's disappointing that Gerrard has pulled out the running. Well, I'm not surprised. I think he knows in the back of his head, if he wants a managerial career, this probably wasn't the right move for him. And I think fundamentally, Steven Gerrard cares, number one, about Steven Gerrard. And if he wants any semblance of a managerial career moving forward, I don't think this Rangers team at this moment in time was going to be the best thing to do. But listen, you never know what's going to happen. I don't want to be too critical because Rangers fans, like I say, I follow it. I care about Rangers. But I just don't think now, at the moment, hiring a Rangers man or someone who gets it, like the Barry Ferguson links, I don't like. I think his record was pretty indifferent last season, and there's nothing to suggest to me that he would improve this situation. I just hope the board take their time with this appointment and actually go for someone who clearly fits something. The worry for me is as well, though, is that there's stuff going on behind the scenes, and I said it last week, I said it in other videos I've done about Rangers, is the new ownership have got to sort this out, because it's a horrific start for them. Sacking a manager so quick into the season, then you get rejected by, or apparently rejected by, a man who's really highly respected by Rangers fans. You've got big problems if that's what's going to happen. They need to sort it. They talked about the infrastructure they were going to put in place and the sort of system and how they were going to implement what they've done at Leeds and what they've done at the San Francisco 49ers. It's chaos behind the scenes at the moment. There's no sign of any sort of structural organisation. It seems to me like it's jobs for the boys and we'll just pick someone who's going to follow our orders. You've got 50,000 blue noses at Ibrox who are simply not going to have that for long. What do you guys think? Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Gerrard should have come back. I personally don't. Maybe some of you wanted down Barry Ferguson. Maybe some of you don't like the idea of Potter or a Bilic or Roll. Let us know what you guys think. Please like, comment and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for everything. Just feel free to check out the Instagram as well, as you can follow me on my numerous travels to different stadiums, and have a great evening. Thank you.